Back in the days when I was writing television drama and casting actors in a couple of TV series, I could tell you the moment when the actor got the part. With Audra McDonald, who was already a Tony winner, it was when she walked in. She owned the room before speaking a word. With another actor, it was when he leaned on a word in a line in a very surprising way that I didn't expect when I wrote it. And with someone else, it was when she smiled through lines when others were fighting back tears over those same lines. And so, leaning on my now very much faded authority about the audition process, I have the strong suspicion that in Todd Blanche's audition, he got the part when he said this.
As to whether or not I want this job, I did not ask for this job. I love working for President Trump. It's the greatest honor of a lifetime. And if President Trump chooses to keep me as acting, that's an honor. If he chooses to nominate me, that's an honor. If he chooses to nominate somebody else and I go back to being the DAG, that's an honor. If he chooses to nominate somebody else and asks me to go do something else, I will say, thank you very much. I love you, sir.
I don't know that I've ever seen anyone more afraid in front of a Justice Department microphone. I mean, he sounded kind of terrified there, but I love you, sir. That was the moment. That was Todd Blanche's audition moment that got him the job, because that was the moment when Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's former criminal defense lawyer, now is acting attorney general, and as of late last night, Donald Trump's nominee to be the next Senate-confirmed attorney general. That was Todd Blanche saying to Donald Trump, I will do anything for you. I mean anything. That was Todd Blanche debasing himself publicly in his audition for a Trump cabinet post more desperately than anyone else in Trump world who has ever engaged in the process of publicly begging for a job from Donald Trump. Republican senators confirmed Todd Blanche in his first Senate confirmation proceeding as Deputy Attorney General. Todd Blanche did not do so well in the nonpartisan evaluation he submitted to in a Manhattan courtroom, where he defended Donald Trump against 34 charges of business fraud in Donald Trump's scheme to pay off the porn star Stormy Daniels, to buy her silence about her very brief encounter with Donald Trump in a hotel room when Donald Trump's third and current wife was home with their 4-month-old baby. Stormy Daniels testified under oath to that jury of New Yorkers who believed her. Donald Trump did not testify in his own defense. That left his defense in the very weak hands of Todd Blanche, who managed to get Donald Trump 34 guilty verdicts from that jury, who decided beyond a reasonable doubt that Stormy Daniels was telling them the truth and Todd Blanche was not telling them the truth, and that Donald Trump was, in fact, very, very, very guilty. So Stormy Daniels was more credible with that jury than Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche's lies work with most Republican senators and most Republican members of the House of Representatives, but they have never worked anywhere else, as that jury showed. Utterly stupid, morally wrong. Those exact words came from the former Republican leader of the United States Senate, Senator Mitch McConnell, who will have a vote on Todd Blanche's Senate confirmation. And this time, Senator McConnell might not be as sure a vote for Todd Blanche's confirmation as he was the first time, because on May 21st, Senator Mitch McConnell said, so the nation's top law enforcement official is asking for a slush fund to pay people who assault cops. Utterly stupid, morally wrong, take your pick. So there's Mitch McConnell, still one of the most important players in the United States Senate, saying Todd Blanche, in his official conduct as acting attorney general, has been utterly stupid, morally wrong. And that is why, when the current Republican leader of the Senate, John Thune, who learned the ways of leadership under Mitch McConnell, was asked today if Todd Blanche will have a hard time getting confirmed as Attorney General. The Republican leader said, quote, "Hard to say." That is not what Republican Senate leaders usually say when a Republican president nominates an Attorney General. They always greet the nomination enthusiastically and guarantee confirmation. And there is usually no reason for the Senate Majority Leader to think there will be any problem confirming any member of the cabinet for the president. But today, John Thune is saying, hard to say about Todd Blanche. Senator Thune said, "This is an environment where nothing's a safe or sure bet these days. It is the same environment in which enough Republicans in the House of Representatives defected yesterday to join the Democrats in passing a war powers resolution to stop Donald Trump's war in Iran. In the United States Senate, Republicans already joined Democrats in a vote on a similar war powers resolution that passed the Senate against Donald Trump's war in Iran. And so, as John Thune put it, an environment where nothing's a safe or sure bet these days, Todd Blanche is now being offered to Republicans in the United States Senate as the next poisonous vote Donald Trump is asking them to cast. Especially poisonous for Republicans running for re-election in the Senate facing strong challenges from Democrats. Those Republicans running for re-election will be asked to vote to confirm the architect of Donald Trump's slush fund, who is also the architect of Donald Trump's amnesty from prosecution for any tax crimes he may have committed in the White House up to now. We heard last night on this program, with the breaking news of Todd Blanche's nomination, that Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, thinks it's possible that Todd Blanche's nomination will not win enough support of Republicans on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator Whitehouse went down the list of Republicans on that committee, and he mentioned, among others, Senator John Cornyn of Texas as one of the possible defectors, especially after Donald Trump supported the scandal-plagued Attorney General of Texas against Senator Cornyn in the Republican Senate primary, which Senator Cornyn lost. So Senator Cornyn is now one of those Republican senators who was defeated in his re-election campaign by Donald Trump himself. And now, the day after Sheldon Whitehouse identified John Cornyn as a possible vote against Todd Blanche, CNN's Manu Raju reports, Senator John Cornyn told me he's undecided on Blanche as AG. Being Attorney General is probably one of the hardest jobs in the cabinet because you're working for the president, but you're also supposed to be able to tell the president no. So we need to talk about that. In his Senate confirmation hearing, will Todd Blanche be able to credibly tell Senator Cornyn that he has ever said no to Donald Trump about anything? The oldest United States Senator, 92-year-old Chuck Grassley, is the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and he used the old math today to calculate the chances of Todd Blanche's Senate confirmation.
Based on the proposition that every Republican on the committee voted for him less than a year ago, and based on the proposition that every Republican senator voted for him a year ago, the answer is yes.
Yes, Senator Grassley's right. If every Republican who voted for Todd Blanche for Deputy Attorney General votes for him for Attorney General, he will be confirmed. But today, John Thune said that's not the situation we're in anymore. And today, Senator Susan Collins of Maine, who's running for re-election, is one of 3 Republicans who voted against the Trump-Blanche slush fund on the Senate floor, a vote Senator Collins obviously believes she has to cast to be re-elected in Maine. So, can Susan Collins vote to confirm the person who Mitch McConnell called utterly stupid, morally wrong, as Attorney General and defend that vote to Maine voters in November? Can she vote for the architect of the Trump-Blanche slush fund? Retiring Republican Senator Thom Tillis, who eagerly welcomed Donald Trump's cabinet announcements at the beginning of the Trump presidency, said this today.
I haven't made a decision yet. The key for Todd or anybody going through Judiciary Committee is being pretty tight on January the 6th. They better not have said for 1 minute that the people that beat up police officers like these right down here were righteous people. You come even close to saying that, you don't have a chair of getting my vote in Judiciary.
Okay, so if you're even close to saying that the Trump-Blanche slush fund can go to people who beat up police officers, Thom Tillis has promised to vote against you. So here is Todd Blanche testifying that people who tried to kill police officers would be eligible for the Trump-Blanche slush fund that Todd Blanche himself designed.
Mr. Attorney General, this is an outrageous, unprecedented slush fund that you set up. Simple question. Will individuals who assaulted Capitol Hill police officers be eligible for this fund?
Well, as it makes plain, anybody is
just let me know if they're eligible for the fund.
as was made plain yesterday, anybody in this country is eligible to apply if they believe they're a victim of weaponization.
Mr. Attorney General, let me ask you this. Are there going to be rules that say that if you've assaulted a Capitol Hill police officer or committed a violent crime, you will not be eligible? Why not make that a rule?
I expect that because I'm not one of the commissioners setting up the rules, I expect that there will be rules.
You're appointing 4 of the 5 members, aren't you, Mr. Attorney General?
Pardon me?
You're appointing 4 of the 5 members.
I am appointing all 5 members.
You can certainly set up the rules. I would hope you would make a rule that anyone convicted of assaulting a police officer or a violent crime is simply not eligible. They should not apply.
Well,
let me ask you this, because you compared it to the Keepsiegel case. But I think you know full well that in that case, the settlement agreement was approved by a federal judge, including the payments to people who were not originally parties to the lawsuit. No federal judge has approved this fund, have they, Mr. Attorney General?
No federal judge did approve this.
If that's not good enough for Thom Tillis, then Thom Tillis is, once again, just not telling the truth about what will actually decide his Senate vote.